At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell, Willingham.
Good morning to you and yours, from our family to yours, here at Westwood One Sports. This is Saturday morning sports with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It is the People Show. You know how to hit me up. Talk to text line wide open for you at 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910. You can tweet at me as well. Same handle on each and every social media platform. It is at NELL_BTP. Boy, do we got a lot to get into as we roll throughout the program. NBA playoffs in full swing. Couple of teams on life support, one in the Eastern Conference, one in the Western Conference, talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks. We will talk about that. Speaking of being on life support, that's also the current status of the Houston Rockets after last night. LeBron James and the LA Lakers on the road getting it done. So much for being too old, right? LeBron James continuing to tell Father Time to kiss it. I love everything about it. We'll break it all down as we roll throughout the program here. We appreciate you locking in, though, man. Good morning to you. However you're tapping into the program, you can check us out on one of our over 200-plus affiliates out there nationwide. You can check us out on Sirius XM Channel 375. You can check us out on WestwoodOneSports.com as well. We encourage you to check out the live stream on YouTube and on X on the YouTube. It is at NELL_BTP. We had a lot to get into, man. We're actually going to have a very special guest stop by the program, as we are going to have Spencer Lovejoy join the program. Spencer Lovejoy is the National Squash League CEO. He is going to join us coming up at about 10:45 to talk about that venture. I love squash, the food, in terms of the National Squash League. I'll give you a hint. It actually has nothing to do with tasty squash. Speaking of tasty, man. Speaking of tasty, that's what the NFL draft has been over the first couple of days. We're going to get into that right off of the rip here to start this program, because there's somewhere that I have to start. We'll get you winners and losers as we roll throughout this NFL draft as well. Day 3 is today, so it's the final day. Well, Carlos, help me out here. This is where I struggle, because normally who pays attention to Saturday and Sunday of the draft? But today's when it wraps up, right? We get rounds 4, 5,
day
6,
three
and
is
7.
Yeah, day 3 is when it's over. So today is the last day of the draft. We'll get the remainder of the rounds.
There we go. I feel like we should maybe wait then to give out official winners and losers of the NFL draft. But there are some teams.
Thank God we're here tomorrow.
Thank God we're here tomorrow. There are some teams, though. There are some teams that have already lost the 2026 NFL draft. And I got to start out in La La Land. Hi, Carlito. Good morning to you, my friend. We're going to get into Diana Rossini, unfortunately. I'm tired of talking about it.
Who hasn't?
Honestly.
Hi-yo!
Well, good morning, Carlos.
Good morning.
I'm tired of talking about her. I am, because you know me, Carlos. I went to bat hard for her. I never really went to bat for Mike Vrabel. I kind of feel like I was opting out on Mike Vrabel because I kept saying, well, why is she got to lose her job and nothing happens to him? That situation, and I can't believe, somehow, some way, this is how we're starting. That situation, I would say, really exposes the double standard that exists within the United States, in my opinion. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but Carlos, I don't know if you've heard this example. This is how I view the Diana Rossini situation. The whole issue, stay with me here, the whole issue of her and Mike Vrabel seeing one another, the whole issue from her perspective and from her haters' perspective is, well, how can she cover Mike Vrabel? How can she cover the league without bias because of her intimate relationship that she's got with Mike, right? Talking about Diana Rossini. This is where the double standard exists. And this is why this is nasty-ass work. And this is why I will continue to go to bat for Diana Rossini. And I'm not trying to go to bat for Diana while slandering anyone else, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. Because what we're not going to do here, especially on this program in particular, I don't know what happens throughout the rest of the time, the rest of the 21 hours here on this 24-hour sports network, but on Sports Saturday, when the youngest in charge is sitting in this seat, you're going to get it real, you're going to get it raw, you're going to get it authentic. What's the difference, outside of the actual intercourse part, what's the difference between Diana Rossini's relationship with Mike Vrabel and Peter Schrager's relationship with Cliff Kingsbury, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay? He vacations with these people. So what does that mean? That means that Peter Schrager, when he reports on the Rams, the Niners, and then the Commanders, when Cliff Kingsbury was in town, he vacations with these people. If you don't think that creates some sort of journalistic bias, kiss my ass. But who's not talked about in this situation? Peter Schrager. Whose relationship isn't talked about in this situation? Peter Schrager. If you don't think Peter Schrager's in Cancun throwing back brewskis with all his favorite coaches, then you got the game twisted. If you don't think other insiders have intimate relationships with their sources, then you're lying. But why is Diana Rossini the one that's being dunked on like this? Why is Diana Rossini the one that's having to wear it? Why is Diana Rossini, why has her job been put into jeopardy, but nothing happens to those guys? I'm just saying. And I know what the major difference is. They're not having intercourse. We don't know if Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel are having intercourse. We saw a kiss, allegedly. Well, I guess that's not alleged anymore. But
Nah, that's out there.
it's out there. But you pick up what I'm putting down here. What's the difference in Diana's, if the problem is about journalistic integrity and that compromises her ability to be unbiased, tell me the difference. Tell me the difference between that and the relationship that Peter, and I hate that I'm using Peter because it feels like I'm picking on Peter. Peter Piper picked a pick a pepper.
Ooh, look at you.
But Daily Rose says, what are you suggesting about? I'm not suggesting anything. I'm suggesting that there's no difference in the two relationships, in my opinion. If the crux of the issue is the inability to get out unbiased reporting, if that's the crux of the issue, then Peter Schrager is no different than Diana Rossini. Sorry. Carlos, I don't know if you've heard it brought to the forefront that way, but I've been on this all week because I think it's BS. And what it does is it exposes the double standard we have in America when it comes to men and women and how women's sexual encounters are viewed and how men's alleged sexual encounters are viewed. Because no one's got a problem. No one had a problem with Peter Schrager having.
And nobody got a problem with Jay Glazer throwing pool parties for all these coaches and whatnot. I don't think people care about the journalistic integrity. That's a cop-out because I certainly don't care. This story is juicy because they're both married. Let's just get into it. This is straight up page 6.
It's like an episode of Baddies East on the Zeus Network. And let's just say there won't be any fun reunion with this story. Diana Rossini, if you're not aware, I had no clue this is how we were going to leave the show. But it was brought up. It was brought up in the YouTube chat. This is why the YouTube chat's important. We encourage you to get there. You can stream us live on YouTube every sports Saturday and every sports Sunday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Hot Carlito says, I would have a problem if I saw Peter kissing Fred. We all would because it's just the problem, right? I don't know, man. I feel bad.
I don't judge.
I don't judge at all. I feel bad, though, in all sincerity. I do feel bad for Diana Rossini because at the end of the day, the day's got to end. No, I'm kidding. because at the end of the day, it's not fair. She was cost a job, and some people are going to say,
she's going to get
quit.
another job, though. She'll get another one. With all those sources, she's not going to be on her fee for long. Off her fee, whatever the hell the expression is.
There's a way that I could have went with that.
I thought about it, too. I almost said back instead of feet.
310-840-4910.
That's it for me.
It's the number. Here on Saturday Morning Sports with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham. There is a lot more to get to. I can't believe we had to touch on that situation to start here. We got a lot to get into as far as the NFL draft. Carlos with a K, our resident New York Giants insider. Do I get any sort of love for accurately predicting Francis Mauigoa weeks ago to the Giants? Is that something that I can get some credit for?
Sure.
Is that something that you're willing to? Oh yeah, just conveniently stretching.
It is early in the morning,
isn't it? So we're gonna do winners and losers and get into some of my favorite picks throughout the course of the draft. We had fireworks right off the rip in round number 1 on Thursday night, starting at pick number 3 overall. The Arizona Cardinals taking Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame, I thought initially was the most ill-advised pick of the entire first round. And then the LA Rams were on the clock at pick number 13 overall. We're going to get to that because I don't even want to spend a half a segment on that. That needs to be that could be a whole hour in terms of what happened in that situation. Obviously, if you don't know, now you know. The Rams with the number 13 overall pick took a man who probably shouldn't even have been drafted. Ty Simpson out of Alabama. We will talk about that as we roll throughout, but I want to just go in chronological order here in terms of some of the things that's happened. Raul Havana types in the YouTube chat saying the Steelers just picked the next Big Ben. We're going to talk about what the Steelers chose to do, selecting Drew Aller. I will say this about Drew Aller to Pittsburgh here real quick. It's one of the better fits, I would say, in this entire NFL draft, maybe in this entire NFL offseason, when you think about where Drew Aller is and what his big fundamental flaw is right now, it's footwork. Mike McCarthy, known as a guy that can get the most out of a young quarterback. You have Will Howard, though. Mike McCarthy called Will Howard a first-round prospect at the spring meetings. So why'd you draft another one? I don't buy that. I'm interested to see, how competition is kind of, cracked out in Pittsburgh with the Steelers. I will say this, though, about the Steelers. They've had a pretty damn good draft. When you think about what they did yesterday, when you think about what they've done really throughout the course of the offseason and the talent that they've been able to acquire offensively. I think that's the big thing. Whoever is under center for the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 1 will be properly supported. I love their draft to this point, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers going with Max Iheanacho out of Arizona State, somebody that comes in and is really nimble and light on his feet. I love his fit in that Steelers offense. There's some question marks about Broderick Jones and his ability to move forward because of the neck injury. This provides them competition and provides them some insurance depending on how they ultimately feel. Iheanacho out of Arizona State, a guy that I was super high on, surprised he lasted all the way until pick number 21. They also go Jeremy Bernard in round number 2. I believe they traded up for Jeremy Bernard, if I'm not mistaken, the wide receiver out of Alabama. So if you're keeping up here with the Steelers and their wide receiver core now, Jeremy Bernard goes into the slot. You'll have Michael Pittman and DK Metcalf on the perimeter, and all of a sudden, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a pretty interesting skill group in an AFC North that is, let's be honest, I would say the AFC North is wide the hell open this year. When you consider the turnover in Pittsburgh, Baltimore, we're going to talk about the Bengals coming up here because they're, hint, wink, wink, they're also a big winner in terms of what they've been able to accomplish this offseason to this point. But the point is a lot of turnover in that AFC North, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are in an interesting spot. I love their pick of Jeremy Bernard. Whoever's at quarterback, I think is going to be properly supported now because you have the weapons out there on the perimeter. The other pick for Pittsburgh that I really, really loved, as I skip over Drew Aller here real quick, we'll get to him in a second. Dalen Everett being selected out of Georgia, man, a guy that comes in and kind of fits the mold of what the Steelers want. Long, big, physical kid, 6'1", 200 pounds, a guy that's going to give you everything he's got on the boundary, plays through the ball at the catch point. I loved him. I wanted him to go potentially to my beloved Washington Commanders. He was a guy that I definitely thought would have helped out my fellas talking about the burgundy and gold. But the big pick with the Pittsburgh Steelers that everybody's got an opinion on is what they ultimately chose to do at the quarterback position. Drew Aller being drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in round number 3, 12th pick of the 3rd round, and he comes in to a quarterback room that already features Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, a 6th-round pick for Pittsburgh back in 2025. Aller's got the goods, right? 6'5", 230, probably the most effortless thrower of the football in this entire class. He had season-ending surgery in November, so you really didn't get to see him finish out his collegiate career in a strong way. But this guy, when it's on and when it looks good and when the mechanics are all lined up, Drew Aller at times can look like the best quarterback in this entire draft class. And I mean over a Fernando Mendoza. I mean over a Ty Simpson. When he puts it all together, talking about Drew Aller, the goods are there. I'm interested because if you're the Steelers, first of all, by the way, last time I checked, still no word on Aaron Rodgers. I thought we were supposed to hear from him by the time the draft came around. I think them selecting Drew Aller kind of tells you everything you need to know about where things stand with Aaron Rodgers. But when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers selecting Drew Aller, I don't know if I understand it, right? Is he being viewed as like a developmental guy? Is he being viewed as somebody that can come in here and actually compete for you? Because here's the thing. If you really believe in Will Howard the way you say you do, Mike McCarthy, calling him a fringe first-round pick, you give him every rep possible coming up this summer because you want to give him the best opportunity to go out and maximize, these first-team reps. If he is afforded the reps and the opportunities, if he's not, rather, afforded the reps and opportunity, how do you get a genuine, concrete answer as to what he is? That would be my plan with a young quarterback. I'm not going to bring in another young quarterback that's going to also really, really need reps when everything should be about Will Howard right now, especially when you came out of your damn mouth and said that you thought he was a first-round talent. Put your money where your mouth is. This is what they say. This is why they say this about NFL media availabilities. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. So if you're a Steelers fan and you're not listening to what they're saying and you're just watching what they're doing, clearly there's a question mark about how they feel about Will Howard, or else they wouldn't have spent third-round premium draft capital on a guy like Drew Aller out of Penn State. They're familiar with him. He's right up the road in Happy Valley, but I still don't understand it. 310-840-4910 is the number here on Saturday Morning Sports with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I almost just sneezed my face off. That was awkward. Bless you, Lynnell. You're welcome, Lynnell. 310-840-4910 is the number. A lot more to get to. We're going to keep things on the NFL draft and the quarterback position coming up on the other side of the break. I mentioned what the Steelers did at quarterback yesterday. When we come back, we got to talk about what the Rams did at quarterback on night one of the NFL draft. If you're a Rams fan out there and you got beef and you're angry, I understand it. It's next here on Westwood One Sports.
Los Angeles delivered a first-round shocker with Alabama's Ty Simpson.
Wow, Ty Simpson goes 13. The Rams.
The QB goes far earlier than expected.
Nobody saw this one coming.
Is this the beginning of the end for Matt Stafford? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell Willingham.
Party just getting rolling. Here on Saturday Morning Sports with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Number to hit us up, talk and text line, available for you. 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910. You tweet at me as well, same handle on each and every social media platform. It is at NELL_BTP. We're into the NBA playoffs coming up here momentarily. As I continue to mention, two teams on life support trying to avoid falling down 3-1. Minnesota Timberwolves up over the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets are in trouble right now. And then the Knicks, they're struggling right now against the Atlanta Hawks. And who could have seen that one coming? Remember, you can hit us up in the YouTube chat. Just search Westwood One Sports Night. We appreciate you being here, though, man. Good morning to you as we're doing it once again here on a Sports Saturday. The NFL Draft, though, the big topic of conversation as we get things ultimately cracked off here this morning. We talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers briefly and the decision that they're going to have to make at the quarterback position. But there's another team that made a pretty interesting decision at quarterback, and it is the LA Rams. I was stunned when this news came across my ticker. When the news came across my ticker that the Rams were selecting Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama, I thought I was being pranked. I thought someone was playing a joke on me. This is, and I don't give a damn what happened at the podium on Saturday, on Friday night. What this was from the Rams was a clear-cut example. I'm having a hard time even gathering my words on it because I'm trying to be politically correct while providing you some humor while also being real about it. The Rams, in their decision to draft Ty Simpson 13th overall, there's so many different ways I can describe it. Organizational malpractice. It was, first and foremost, it was a total slap in the face to every veteran on that roster that Les Snead and company decided to use their richest asset in this 2026 offseason, their richest asset They chose to spend it on a quarterback, a position that's not going to help them in 2026. The Rams were on the doorstep of being in the Super Bowl. The Rams were on the doorstep of hoisting a Lombardi, potentially. They're a team that is a clear-cut bona fide contender. So 2026 should have been about Rams house running it back and adding to their already legit core. And at 13 overall, when you think about some of the players that were available to them that they chose to bypass, it's honestly a fireable offense, if I'm being honest and if I'm being real about it. Their decision to bypass Ty Simpson is honestly a fireable offense. When you think about who went, you think about the guard out of Penn State going immediately after, Ruben Bain, Kenyon Sadiq, the Kenyon Sadiq one, Mekhi Lemon, who I thought was a shoo-in to the Rams, right? In terms of what he brings to the table and, his play style. Going with Ty Simpson, I think it's a complete slap in the face and a big middle finger to every veteran on that roster. Point blank. How are you supposed to be encouraged if you're a Rams player right now that this team has your best interest? If you're a Devontae Adams, if you name the veterans on this roster, how are you convinced that the front office is all in for this year? Doesn't make sense. Silly move that I think is a part of a deeper and bigger problem that we have in sports. Ty Simpson had an intimate, direct relationship, his family did, with Les Snead, the general manager of the LA Rams. And because of that relationship, that's why he was chosen, in my opinion. There's no way that he goes in the first round if it's not to the Rams. That's just the reality of the situation. If he does not go 13th, he does not go in the first round. I couldn't imagine being a fan of the Rams right now. If you were a Rams fan, the idea of your team using, and I gotta speak slowly when I say it so you all can really comprehend what I'm saying. They used their most valuable asset of the offseason. It wasn't even their own first-round pick. They didn't pick last year in the first round, so they could have this very selection. And they used it on a quarterback. Not a wide receiver, not a corner, not pass rush, not offensive line help, not tight end, which we saw a run on yesterday. They used it at quarterback. If you're a Rams fan out there, you have every right to be angry, frustrated, confused, and you're not the only one that feels that way. Rams head coach Sean McVay, the interaction that happened at the podium between Sean McVay, Les Snead, just watching it in real time, the audio maybe doesn't even do it its whole justice. Watching it in real time, anyone that got the chance to get eyes on this thing understands that Sean McVay, Les Snead, clearly not on the same page when talking about Ty Simpson being drafted number 13 overall.
There's different things, I think, always want to be mindful of, all right, how things come off, things like that. Very excited about last night, very excited about today, and couldn't be more excited about us continuing to lead together. But every decision that we make is collective and collaborative. And so for any of the questions or misunderstandings just based on my demeanor or disposition last night, I did want to get that out of the way. This is my buddy right here, all right? So that was brought to my attention because I got so many texts, and that was never my intended way to be able to come off. But sometimes I can be a little grumpy, you know?
Yeah, you're grumpy because your boss went behind your back and gave you a middle finger. Sean McVay's a liar. Some of you think Diana Rossini's a liar. They've hooked up. Anywho, here's my thing. Sean McVay's a liar, right? Let's call it what it is. Sean McVay is a total liar. You know why Sean McVay looked like he was about to bust a vessel sitting up there next to Les Snead on Thursday night? Ty Simpson spilled the beans, Sean. You never spoke to this young man once throughout the pre-draft process. Not once. Don't you think that's a little bit crazy, guys? For the for the future franchise quarterback to not speak to the current acting head coach tells you this was a Les Snead play. Mr. F them picks said F 2026 if you are a Rams fan. Because this was not a move for today. This was a move for tomorrow. And here's the interesting part about all of this. We have heard ever since they first lost in the Super Bowl, we have heard these rumors about Sean McVay, potentially retiring and being fatigued and having burnout. But time has passed since then. He's won a Super Bowl since then. And you got to wonder how he's looking at things long term. I know this. Matthew Stafford is the starting quarterback of this football team, right? We all know that without a shadow of a doubt. There's no debating it. There's no competition here. It's just the reality of the situation. How does Ty Simpson help you in 2026? How? And when you think about it, the even crazier part is if you could have traded this pick away again and put your eggs in the 2027 quarterback basket where there are far better prospects than Ty Simpson. This was an egregious decision. I sat up here all pre-draft process and begged and pleaded with you all to try to get you to understand that, hey, this guy is not a first-round talent. He's not. There's so many other ways they could have addressed this. And it's sad because Sean McVay had to get up there and lie. It's sad because he was done wrong. I just feel like this was a total undermining of the head coach. It was. There's no way you make this decision without being in lockstep. Here's the other part. You know what else Ty Simpson was asked? Hey, Ty, have you talked to Matt Stafford, the guy that, should be in charge of helping mentor you? Did you talk to him? No. But I talked to Kelly Stafford. She DM'd me. Like, this is a clown show in L.A. And if you're describing it as anything else, I hate to break it to you. You're wrong. I don't know what the hell the Rams are doing. I don't know what the real state and status of that relationship is between Les Snead and Sean McVay. But they can try and play, buddy all that they want. The reality is you drafted a quarterback without your head coach's approval in a year in which you're supposed to be pushing all your chips to the middle. If there's a bigger example of organizational malpractice, point me in that direction because I'll talk about them on the platform too. If you're a Rams fan out there, I know this is probably a little early for you to be vomiting, but here you go. 310-840-4910 is the number here on Saturday Morning Sports with the youngest and Charles and Willingham, taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I want to open up the phone lines on this, 310-840-4910. What did you make of the Rams' decision to draft Ty Simpson. Am I overreacting? Do you view it as undermining the head coach? Do you think it's abnormal that Sean McVay and Ty Simpson didn't speak throughout the pre-draft process? Let me know. 310-840-4910. A lot more to get to relative to the NFL draft. There's one team, in my opinion, that is the biggest winner of the 2026 NFL draft to this point. I'll tell you who that is next.
Westwood One, baby! Fernando Mendoza is the Raiders' new centerpiece. Will he prove to be a franchise quarterback or another Vegas roll of the dice? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell Willingham.
Is the number here on Westwood One Sports. Saturday morning sports continues with the youngest in charge in Willingham. We'll get you up to 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to hear from a very special guest coming up. The final segment of the program. We're going to be joined by Spencer Lovejoy, the National Squash League CEO, going to join us, get us up to speed on what they've got going on and what the National Squash League is and how you all can check it out if that is something that you are interested in. That comes up in the final segment of the program. We'll have a fresh installment of the best audio vault and all sports talk radio with Say What coming up a little bit later on in the program as well. I see some folks on the line at 310-840-4910. We'll get to them coming up here momentarily, but I got to get to this. To me, there is one big winner here when it comes to the 2026 NFL draft to this point. To me, the big winner of the NFL draft through 2 days, I don't think it's particularly close either in terms of what they've been able to accomplish. The Cleveland Browns have kicked the NFL draft in the ass with their 5 picks that they've made to this point. So they start at pick number 6 on Thursday night. They end up moving back with Kansas City, and they insert Spencer Fano, the offensive lineman out of Utah, somebody that is a plug-and-play starter from them right away from day one, someone that helps whoever is going to be out under center for the Cleveland Browns. I love that move. Then they follow it up with their second first-round pick. They go with KC Concepcion, the wide receiver out of Texas A&M, probably at that point when he was selected. Some people may call it a little bit of a reach. I think this guy has got 110% juice, 5'11", 200 pounds, 15 yards per reception. For the Aggies, man. He gets open as well as any receiver in this draft. He creates separation quickly. He knows how to sit down and find soft spots and zones. So this is a guy that I think is going to be a big, big target monster in terms of just the volume of looks he's going to get in this Browns offense. This was a team that led the NFL in drops a season ago and had arguably the worst skill group in all of the NFL. You insert KC Concepcion, I think you got a big fat winner if you're the Cleveland Browns. He's somebody that comes in and is immediately a super duper friendly and reliable target to whoever is going to be under center for Cleveland coming up this fall, whether that is Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders, man. I loved it, though, man. People can say that they reached for KC Concepcion. You can't say that they reached with their very next pick. They go back ultimately to the wide receiver well. This time it's Denzel Boston out of the University of Washington. And if I'm being real, right, when he was selected, he probably was the highest remaining player on a lot of boards throughout the National Football League. And when you think about what he can immediately come in and do, he complements what they already have really, really well. You're going to line up potentially him and Jerry Jeudy on the perimeter and let KC Concepcion work within the slot. He brings a body type and a physical profile that the Browns simply just do not have in their wide receiver room. 6'4", 212, the ability to just take defenders out of the play by boxing them out, so on and so forth. Super long arms, very sure-handed, really adjusts well while the ball is in the air. I think Denzel Boston could have been a top 20 pick in this draft. He ends up going in the 7th pick of the second round to Cleveland, man. This was a really, really good pick for them, and I think he comes in right away and helps you out here. If you're the Browns, think about it like this in terms of what you've added at receiver. 2 wide receivers inside the top 40. Cleveland didn't have a single wideout crack 650 yards last year. So when you're talking about, what they were able to accomplish this weekend, what they've been able to accomplish to this point, you got to be happy if you're a Browns fan. Then they got, jiggy on the defensive side of the football as well. A dude that I thought could have been drafted as high as, 15th to Tampa? Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety out of Toledo, him being on the board at that point, I'm sure Andrew Berry and company are sprinting, to the podium to make that pick. 6'4", 201 pounds, creates turnovers, 5 picks and 10 forced fumbles throughout the course of his career. So the ball production is out of this world. Love everything about his game and how he fits into that secondary. Their defense already, one of the better groups in the National Football League. They knock it out of the park again, selecting a guy way below his draft range, man. Like, I don't know why Emmanuel McNeil-Warren ultimately fell the way that he did, but he comes in and is able to help you out right away. Then they finish it out with a road grader. A road grader in terms of a dude that walks in and just looks the part right off of the rip. Austin Barber, 6'7", 320 from the University of Florida. Outstanding length. Makes him a super intriguing prospect. A guy that, has kind of been up and down throughout the course of his career in terms of being a pass blocker, but a moldable piece of clay for Todd Monken and company, as he eventually is going to be a stalwart along that offensive line. Browns don't pick again until the 5th round. They got 2 5ths or 3 5ths rather. Damn, they have 4 5th-round picks. I'm sure they're going to move up into the 4th when you think about all the 5ths they've got. They've got the 6th pick in the 5th round, the 8th pick, the 9th pick, the 12th pick. I'm sure that they move up and ultimately get into the 4th round. But I got to look at the Browns as, to me, the biggest winner of the 2026 NFL Draft in terms of how they were able to, help their team out throughout the first couple of days. Now, obviously, we got day 3. So winners, losers, that can change as we roll throughout the weekend. But I'm really, really, really high on what the Cleveland Browns were able to do, man. I'm really excited about what they have moving forward. The big question is what are you going to get out of the quarterback position? And I think if you've been paying attention to what they've done in the draft here, clearly they have provided a way better infrastructure for the quarterback compared to what they ultimately had a season ago. I want your calls, man. Give me your biggest winner of the 2026 NFL Draft through the first couple of nights. 310-840-4910. I gave you my biggest winner. I'll give you my biggest loser coming up here momentarily as well. Make sure you keep it locked here on Westwood One Sports. As I mentioned, 1045, Spencer Lovejoy of the National Squash League, the CEO, the boss of the National Squash League, going to join the program as he gets us up to speed with what they have going on here on a Sports Saturday with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham. 310-840-4910 is how you reach me. I gave you my biggest winner of the 2026 NFL Draft. I think that's the Cleveland Browns through the first 2 nights. I'll give you my biggest loser of the NFL Draft, And a little hint for you, right? Maybe it's the LA Rams. Maybe it's the LA Rams. We opened up the show talking about, the situation with them at quarterback. For their sake, for Rams house, and all my Cali cool folks out there, California people don't get angry. I realize that about them. Is this something you can get angry at? Just saying. Just saying. We'll get back into the NBA postseason as well. All that and more comes your way next here on Saturday Morning Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell Willingham.
Good morning. Saturday morning sports continues with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern time. Number to hit me up, talk and text line wide open for you. Taking your calls on big winners of the first two nights of the NFL draft. 310-NFL. 310-840-4910 is the number. 310-840-4910 is the number. You can tweet at me as well. Same handle on each and every social media platform. It is at NELL_BTP. We're getting into the NBA playoffs as we approach the final hour of the program. But I do want to continue to give you wall-to-wall coverage of the 2026 NFL draft, including you all checking in on it as well at 310-840-4910. Let's start out in Texas. Gary is in Texas. Batting leadoff for us. Gary, good morning.
How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you. So I'm just calling in about the draft, obviously. I think it was an awesome choice. So one thing that everybody forgets about is we addressed our needs, which is on the defensive end. We got.
You say we? Who are you referring to? I'm confused.
The Los Angeles Rams.
You're trying to defend what the Rams did. Is that what you're going to say?
Absolutely.
How?
Absolutely.
Go ahead. The floor is yours. I have all morning because you're going to need it.
All right. So to run it back, all we needed to do is dress our DBs. We did that. We gave up a first-round pick, so add that to our draft and got the best DB lineup out there in Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie. So we addressed our needs earlier before the draft. And if you look at history, drafting a quarterback when you don't need one always pans out to be the best thing. We got examples of that. Aaron Rodgers. We got examples of that. Jordan Love. So to draft a quarterback now, didn't get groomed behind Matt Stafford, is really going to pan out for us down the future. You think about last year preseason, right? We was predicted to be a contender for the Super Bowl at the beginning of last year. Matt Stafford get his back hurt. Everybody wanted to throw the whole Rams season in the tank because we don't have a quarterback. If Matt Stafford is not playing, we give up the whole season. Midway through this season, last year, Matt Stafford hurts the finger. Everybody, if that finger was hurt, everybody was going to throw away the season again. And then we're always going to get my question is, how many first-round draft picks make an impact their first year anyway? Right?
A lot,
So
pal. Are you kidding? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard anyone say. What do you mean how many first-round players make an impact in year one? Are you crazy?
Yeah,
Most of them.
Super impact. They make that much of an impact where they take a team to the Super Bowl. Come on, they have great years, great seasons, but name a first round draft pick that got their team into the Super Bowl. Very few.
Because there's no player that single handedly gets their team to a Super Bowl. This is the National Football League, pal.
That's my point. You just validated the point. So you don't need to worry about that. We'll address that.
You drafted a quarterback that started 15 games in college.
Yeah,
you give me the precedent. You give me the precedent and track record of a young man or a prospect that has that few starts having success at the next level. With his lack of physical tools, I think it's a silly pick. It's a reason Sean McVay was up there getting ready to bust blow a gasket on Thursday night.
It's because it's not a sexy move, and he's going to have to deal with all the backlash. This is a strategic move to keep the Rams going. It is a business move. It's not a sexy move. Players might be not understanding of it. I get it. But for long term, we can't just throw it in. If Matt Stafford goes down and get hurt.
What about long term? Who you think Devontae Adams gives a rat's ass about the long term future of the LA Rams? You think that any veteran on that team cares about the long term future? They're trying to win a Super Bowl. How do you expect them to give their absolute best if you didn't give your absolute best in putting the roster together?
We did. We got Trent McDuffie and we got Jalen Watson.
You wouldn't have used your richest asset. They used their richest asset of the offseason to pick a guy that's not going to play. How can you justify that?
How did that work out with Green Bay and Jordan Love? How did that work out with Aaron Rodgers?
We're talking about a pick in the 20s. This was a top 15 pick. For Ty Simpson. A guy that wasn't a perennial or a guy that was not a consensus first-round pick.
What was Brock Purdy? What was Brock Purdy's consensus?
Oh my!
What was Brock Purdy's consensus?
You're comparing Ty. You think
right?
Ty Simpson's going to be Brock Purdy? Ty Simpson also.
Right.
Brock Purdy also started a litany of games throughout the course of his collegiate career. Not 15 starts. I appreciate the call. You're crazy though. I appreciate you. I mean, I'm going to get a headache. There's no way. Are there more people that are going to try to justify? Chance is in Alabama. Chance, what do you got for me? There's no way. I'm here for it. Y'all know how I get down. I embrace the smoke. Good morning to you. There's no way anybody out there is defending this pick.
You know, I got no problem with Ty Simpson. I'm an Alabama fan, and I like Ty Simpson. I know he only played 15 games, but he was hurt part of the year, and no one really knows how quarterbacks are going to turn out. We don't know. But most people didn't like Ty, going in the draft. Like McVay didn't even talk to him, right? And now that
you don't think that's a problem? You don't think that's a problem that the head coach didn't even say a word to the young man?
You're not letting me finish, man.
Go ahead.
People are saying now that he's with McVay that he's going to be the best player in the draft. It's like when Belichick drafted anyone. It was like 3D chess. I mean, just because he's with McVay doesn't mean it's a sure thing. I think he's got a shot. People hated Josh Allen. I think there was like one or two pundits that liked Josh Allen. He went to a defensive coach, turned out great. Just because Ty goes with McVay doesn't mean he's going to be great. Just because, McVay's a good coach. It just depends, on so many different things. We really don't know how these how these quarterbacks are going to turn out. And,
but you project, right? It's a projection. Yeah. In the track record, in the precedent for quarterbacks that come into the NFL with under 15 collegiate starts, he's got 1 year of starting experience. There's not a whole lot of track record for a guy like that coming in having success.
He sat behind Mac Jones for a year. He sat behind I think Tua's last year, maybe. I mean, he was coached by Saban. So he's got some credentials, man. I mean, he's got some credentials. He's got some raw talent. I think he's got a shot to be good. But then again, he could be a bust. Can I say one quick thing about the Bills? I hate their draft.
Sure.
Man, I hate their draft.
You hate the Bills draft?
Down. Yeah, man. They trade all down to get more picks. And this is a fact. You can look it up. The Bills have devoted the least amount of assets to wide receiver since in the Brandon Beane era. And I think this was the year to go all in for Josh to get him receiver help.
They got to be able to stop people. They got to be able to stop people too. You let Bo Nix and company walk the football all up and down the field against you. You needed pass rush. You got that with TJ Parker. And I think you added to your secondary with Benison. So like I like the two picks because I think they're at two premium positions that they needed to upgrade at.
Yeah, but what decided the game the last two playoff games?
Josh Allen turning the football over.
No,
Are you going to tell me
the receiver got the ball? The receiver got the ball ripped out of his hands. If he would have just caught it.
What about the other turnovers that Josh Allen had in the game? Josh Allen, if you don't think that Josh Allen cost that team, there's no other way to overcomplicate it. Don't try to. He still got
in position to win. He still got them in position to win in overtime, in field goal range. If the receiver just catches the ball, you go back 2 years. Dawson Kincaid, Spagnolia calls a blitz. It looks like it's just a prayer by Josh. It hits Dalton Kincaid right in the hands. Drop. I mean, go check the highlights. I know he had terrible turnovers, but the last 2 playoff games, he got them in position to win.
I'm going to agree to disagree. I appreciate you as always, though, man. 310-840-4910. That's tough. It's hard for that one because, I love Josh Allen. I think he's a great, great young man, great quarterback. If you're going to try to sit here and tell me that he didn't cost Buffalo their playoff game against Denver, then what are we doing here? He cost them the playoff game. Don't blame the wide receivers. 310-840-4910 is the number. Let's go to Jim in Seattle who wants to chime in. What's going on, Jim?
Yeah, a guy earlier mentioned Jordan Love. Packers could have had Aaron Rodgers help, but instead Jordan Love was picked. Now look what the Falcons did 2 years ago. They signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year, $180 million contract. So instead of getting Kirk Cousins' help, what did the Falcons do? They drafted Michael Penix Jr. to help them.
And how is that working?
Yeah, so I say what's happening, what the Rams are doing, other teams are doing the same thing.
Still doesn't make sense is my point. I appreciate the call. I don't know. I'm surprised, man. I consider you all the smartest, sports talk radio fan base in the country. I take pride in saying that. I mean, what the hell? To try to come on, man. Are y'all serious? It's it's the equivalent of Les Snead going in Sean McVay's office and taking a dump and leaving it there. That's what this is. For you not to
clean it up.
Seriously. Because he had a relationship with Ty Simpson's father. Come on. You all are probably the same people that are angry about Bronny James being in the NBA. I think this is crazy, though. I really do. And I'm a Commander fan through and through. We drafted, one of my top guys in the draft, my best or favorite defender in the draft, who the Giants decided to bypass for some stupid reason.
You're welcome.
In terms of Sonny Styles. I'm happy about the way the draft went. I can't think about anything else, though, other than what the hell happened in L.A. with the Rams. And the fact that there are legitimately people calling in to try and justify the pick is ludicrous. It was ludicrous.
It was a fantastic pick.
Yeah. Fantastically stupid is the best way.
If you're a fan of the Niners and the Seahawks.
Yeah,
it was a terrible pick.
how arrogant do you have to be about the state of your roster for you to just think, screw it. We'll take somebody else. And here's the thing. People are going to say, well, the Chiefs did it with Pat Mahomes. It was Patrick freaking Mahomes.
Right, and he was bypassing Alex Smith. It's not like they had Matt Stafford there, in the wings.
Exactly. I don't understand the move at all. If you do, help me understand it at 310-840-4910. You can tweet at me as well. It is at NELL_BTP. We're going to get into the NBA postseason coming up here momentarily, but let's get to Rob in Connecticut. Good morning to you, Rob. As he shares his thoughts. What's going on, man? Rob, you keep it real. You're known for keeping it real. Don't try to keep it. This is crazy.
Keep it real. Carlos knows I keep it real, right, Carlos?
Robbo!
Carlos with the K, my man. Listen, the first thing I thought about, it's a joke. Ty Simpson is a joke. The Rams should have taken somebody else that was worthy. And the only thing I thought about was comparing him to another quarterback who, when he was drafted, he's going to be the next greatest thing for Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett. He's a starter and this and that. Look where Kenny Pickett is now. I just don't agree with the pick that the LA Rams did. Ty Simpson, I think he's a joke. I don't think he's going to last long. And, Kenny Pickett was a joke as well. So he's not a starter, and Ty Simpson is not going to be a starter.
I mean, yeah, I pick up what you're putting down. That's a head scratcher, man. I appreciate it, Rob. Enjoy your weekend, brother. I don't remember the last time. Was there a bigger head scratching pick in round one? No, right? Like, that's the clear cut obvious answer is no. But like, dog, and I'm not trying to over exaggerate it either and act like this was the worst draft selection of all time. But damn it, it's right up there. Ty Simpson. I don't know if anyone else would have taken him in round one.
I think it's worse than the Vikings taking J.J. McCarthy, and I thought that was one of the all-time blunders.
I mean, at least J.J. McCarthy was McCarthy a 2-year starter at Michigan? At least he was a 2-year starter.
He's, you know what? He's a national champion, but that's where the pleasantries end, because he was a national champion on a team that ran the ball well and had a suffocating defense. The guy was a bus passenger, not a driver.
Yeah, it's silly to think about what the Rams did, man. It's even sillier to try and justify it, but I'll leave that up to you guys at 310-840-4910. To me, the Rams are a big fat loser as a result of this. I'm sorry. There's no other way that I could put it. There's another big winner to me in the NFL draft. I loved what the Dallas Cowboys were able to do, acquiring Caleb Downs at number 11 and Malachi Lawrence at number 23 overall. You know, their ability to improve their secondary while also getting some major juice off of the edge, I think is huge. You think about Malachi Lawrence opposite of Donovan Ezeraku, who I'm super high on. Cowboys all of a sudden got some juice in their pass rush. I keep talking about Jalen Thompson from the Arizona Cardinals, who the Dallas Cowboys were able to bring in. You now pair those two together in your back end, and you're a hell of a lot better. The other big win for Dallas, I would say, and I didn't see this going this way, the way that they've handled the George Pickens situation. Shout out to Jerry Jones being, respectful and calling up David Mulugeta. I thought that, that relationship was fractured. Once they came out and said that Pickens was playing on the tag, I didn't really give him much of a shot to resolve this. I didn't think Pickens would, go quietly. We still don't know if he's going to go quietly. He could not show up to the offseason program, and then what? But he did sign his franchise tag. Cowboys have a Super Bowl caliber offense. I don't think anyone can really dispute that. The big question is, what do they have on their defense? And you add Malachi Lawrence to this interesting front four that they have, interesting front seven that they have, and it's fascinating, man. I'm a fan of what the Dallas Cowboys have. Think about who they have rushing the passer. Donovan Ezeraku, Malachi Lawrence, Sam Williams, Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, and Quinnen Williams. If you're a Cowboy fan out there, how are you not thrilled with what your team was able to do? I'm a big fan of what the Cowboys were able to do in the NFL draft. I think they have set themselves up to really compete in what is going to be a loaded NFC East division. Taking your calls on winners of the 2026 NFL Draft. 310-840-4910 is the number. 310-840-4910 is the number. I got another big winner that I saw one outlet give an F to, and they're from the state of New York. Tell you who next.
Cardinals turned the draft upside down. Jeremiah Love went 3rd overall.
Man, I'm ready to prove the fans right, prove the coaching staff right.
The highest paid running back ever, with $52.5 million guaranteed.
I'm ready to represent the running backs. I'm ready to represent the Cardinals, ready to represent Notre Dame.
Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell Willingham.
Good morning to you. Saturday Morning Sports continues with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Number to hit me up. Talking text line available for you. 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910 is the number. A lot more to get to as we continue to give you winners and losers of the really just winners so far of the 2026 NFL Draft. Day 3 of the draft is today. Draft wraps up, and then tomorrow we'll get you official winners and losers. Probably bring you a fresh installment of No Super Six Pack. There we go. I know you all want to get in on the Rams' decision and what they did at quarterback, selecting Ty Simpson, 13th overall, out of the University of Alabama, just 15 collegiate starts throughout the course of his career. And I'll be honest, it's one of the most head-scratching picks I've ever seen in the first round of the NFL Draft when you consider what the Rams currently are. If you're just now joining us, man, I described it as a huge middle finger to every veteran on that football team that you decided to use your richest asset to go out and acquire a guy that's not going to help you in 2026. What did you make of the move? Is it justifiable? Did you hate it? Did you understand it? Let me know at 310-840-4910. And then if you got any winners here in the NFL Draft through the first 2 days, give me that as well at 310-840-4910. You can hit us up in the YouTube chat with that as well. Just search the show on YouTube, Westwood One Sports Night. Tommy is in Michigan, wants to chime in. What's going on, Tommy?
Lynnell, good morning, my man.
Good morning to you, brother. How are you?
Oh, yeah. I think what the Rams did was just total malfeasance, but unconscionably stupid.
Yeah.
We had Matt Stafford here for years as a Lions fan, and I was sad to see him leave. And he goes out to the Rams. He went to the Super Bowl. He still got it. He's still a great – I hate when we had to play him because I'm like, this dude is still dangerous,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
For them to not give him any help, like just on the offensive line or whatever, but to hire or to draft a quarterback, and think about this poor kid, this quarterback they drafted. He's thinking, man, I just got drafted to a town where everybody hates me now. They hated the pick, and now think about the pressure that just put on this poor kid.
Yeah.
Nobody wants him there in that town. They're like, they think I'm like the worst, and it's not his fault, but he got picked, and now he's got a bullseye on his back. He got so much pressure to live up, and it wasn't his fault.
Tommy, think about this too, and I think someone threw this in our YouTube chat. I want to give Cropper credit to him. Think about it. He sat for 3 years at Alabama. So he's going to come in the NFL and sit even more. He's played 15 games in his college career, man.
There's a reason he sat all those years.
Because he wasn't that great of a prospect. Let me get personal with you real quick here, pal. Because I saw what your Lions were able to do. Drafting Blake Miller almost ensures Penei Sewell's moving to left tackle. I think Penei is arguably the best tackle in football. So whether it's left side or right side, I don't worry about it for the Lions. I like this Derek Moore pick. I don't know if many people are familiar with who this young man is. I'm sure you guys out there are. But bringing him in, I think you've been looking for a guy to go opposite of Hutch, and I think he fits the bill perfectly.
That's what we've been needing because you know what? Now Hutch has a little history of some injuries, and and he's our only really legitimate pass rush threat. So I think they did good. You know what? That's what they had to do, and let's see if it works out.
Let's see what it works out. They got to get some offensive line help too, some interior help before they get out of here.
The offense, you know what? And they've just been decimated with injuries. The Lions, it's like the curse of the, like Bobby Lane cursed them 60-some years ago. And
it's something, man.
Anyway,
Tommy, I appreciate you. Enjoy your weekend, pal. 310-840-4910. Greg is in Fort Lauderdale. It's something about that Florida water. It's got a little bit of crazy in it. Greg, are you defending what Les Snead and the Rams did? Good morning, my brother. How are you, man?
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm good.
No, I'm kind of in the middle on it because
Okay, let me hear you.
5-6 years ago, the Rams went all in and won that Super Bowl, and everybody was saying, well, they're going to pay a heck of a price because they're going to bottom out for years because how they extended themselves with money and everything. But they came right back. They really never really fallen off that bad. And so I look at it and I go, it doesn't make sense from when you're like the way we're looking at it right now. You go, man, come on now. I thought for sure that they would go for defensive help, like they would grab that safety out of Ohio State. You know what I mean? If they could, because they got McDuffie, because that was their lapse last year. They in the secondary. They
need secondary help. Caleb Downs wasn't there for him, but they could have. The bottom line is your bigger point is you could have added someone to help you this year, and not doing that with this roster is crazy.
I get that, and that's where I thought they would go. But then I'm always kind of like with the Rams, it's like they do goofy stuff, and you go like it, and you go, man, these guys are going to pay a price for 2-3 years, and then they don't. They kind of bounce, all of a sudden, they get guys like Jerry Verse that come out of nowhere, and I'm kind of like, I don't know what they're up to, but yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And as a Rams kind of
I think your point. I think your point is interesting. And correct me if I'm wrong here.
Well,
you're saying when you look at the track record of the organization, like since Les Snead and Sean McVay have gotten there, they have been arguably like the class of the NFC. So what you're saying is you got to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But because I was with you, I'm going, hey, we're 2 years in a row now. They're literally 1, 2, 3 plays away from getting to the big thing again. And you get the surprise bounce back. Everybody said, "Oh man, Donald retired early," and that's like, "Oh, this is going to hurt." And it's like it didn't. I mean, it kind of did. Obviously, you can't lose Donald. And,
of course,
and,
but
that's all.
To your point, they just
continue
to
retool these other cats, and and they do really fast. So I'm kind of like, if maybe they're playing chess when everybody else playing checkers, but if this blows up in their face, it might, because I thought for sure if they could have got Downs out of a house. I mean, him with McDuffie back there, and a couple other good role players, they would have shored up that secondary, and then there wouldn't have been much that was weak on their defense. That was their only complaint last year. So I look at it that way a little bit. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'm with you guys. If this goes bad, it'll be their first real blow that they've had. It
feels like it, man. It feels like it. They've taken plenty of risks throughout the course of this Sean McVay, Les Snead era. This one, though, this one's different. John is in Houston, wanting to check in. Good morning, John. Welcome into Westwood One Sports.
Hey, man, what's up? Man, by the way, any show that you're on, man, I just love your voice and I love your knowledge, man. I like to catch you.
Man.
Listen, man. This was so incompetent. I thought what the general manager for the Steelers, Khan, did, calling this guy and wasn't aware that Philly was jumping over him. I thought that was incompetent of an organization and a general manager. But this was even more stupid. First of all, Ram fans, if you trying to defend this thing, let me tell you something. They did not need to draft a quarterback this year. And if they want to draft Ty Simpson, hell, they could have waited and got him with their last pick, maybe 3rd, 4th, 5th round or something. And what about your little quarterback you already got on the team that won the championship with Georgia? I hear a lot of people say that this kid can't play. Well, he looked pretty damn good to me.
I'll be honest. I don't know how Stetson Bennett's hands is in the NFL. If I'm being honest, there's not a man that's more protected by the shield than Stetson Bennett. You know what he's been accused of doing? Not accused. You know what he's been on camera caught doing? I mean, some of the craziest drunk behavior you'll ever see in your life has come from Stetson Bennett. I'm all for giving people second chances, man. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, man. Nobody's perfect, but Stetson Bennett shouldn't. I mean, come on. So I get what there's no confidence in him is what I'm saying. So I get why they didn't trust that guy.
Yeah, I feel you, man. But you know what? I just feel like what I saw him do against Stroud in the championship. He's got some tools. I think sometimes quarterbacks
they see what you see.
Give them enough opportunity. But let's get to this Rams thing. This Rams. First of all, we already know why the general manager did it, because he tight with the family. That is so stupid. Man, Lord, that is so stupid. And don't compare Green Bay with drafting quarterbacks and letting them sit for 4-5 years. I mean, Brett Favre won a championship. He had Aaron Rodgers there, and Aaron Rodgers won a championship. You cannot compare. The thing is that the Rams was this close to being in the Super Bowl.
If you were a veteran on this team, how would this make you feel? That's my initial thought.
They're all upset. Those veterans, like the big boys on the offensive line and defensive line, they're sitting there saying, "Oh, they're gonna draft another offensive lineman, or they're gonna draft another defensive lineman,
and they can use some depth. They can use depth at that spot." Yeah. Hey, look, I'm gonna let you run because we got to go here, but I appreciate you. But yeah, it's fascinating to me, man. One of the most head scratching moves in first round history. If I'm being honest, man, I was stunned. The one guy that's vindicated right now is Dan Orlovsky. I know he's been tooting Ty Simpson's horn all pre-draft process, and maybe he knew something. See, here's the thing, Carlos. Let me tag you in here for a second, pal, because I'm. Everyone gets upset at these intimate relationships. Diana Rossini got caught with Mike Vrabel. Dan Orlovsky, you know why Dan Orlovsky was talking up Ty Simpson this whole time? Because there's nobody closer to Sean McVay in the NFL media world than Dan Orlovsky.
Oh,
he was
God,
on his staff.
Don't come out.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. But he was on his staff in LA. He was on his staff in LA. He's familiar with his thought process. I think Les Snead brought this up, and Sean McVay's known about this throughout the entire process, and he just didn't think they were actually going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the initial reaction is everything that you needed to know with Sean McVay. He's just like, that body language in the press conference told you everything. The words coming out, complete lies. The body told you everything. This is the type of pick that's going to do one of two things. One is a guarantee. There is now a wedge between Sean McVay and Les Snead. Like that's in there. And that wedge is called Ty Simpson. The secondary thing is I'm not sure quite yet. It really depends on how the Rams finish this season. It's either going to lead to Sean McVay, quote-unquote, retiring, or Les Snead is going to get fired. Because if this turns out to be a J.J. McCarthy with Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah or Michael Penix with Terry Fontenot situation, Les Snead could lose his job for picking the wrong quarterback in the first round. We've seen it time and time again. So one of these guys is going to be gone next offseason.
Unless Les Snead is in the NFL Illuminati. There are certain coaches that are allowed to swing and miss on first-round picks, and they keep their job. Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, Brian Dable. Well, Dable ended up getting fired. Saleh, too. But you pick up what I'm putting down. Speaking of Robert Saleh and Brian Dable, their former teams, big fat winners in the NFL draft. I was a real big fan of what both the Giants and the Jets were able to do in the 2026 NFL draft. I do want to start with the G-men, because that group, when I talk about the Giants and what they did in the draft, I added to what they did in free agency. Everyone was complaining. There were some folks that questioned the Arvell Reese pick, and we're going to let you hear from Malik Neighbors a little bit later on and say, what? But I like the pick. I think he's a good football player. He's going to rush the passer. He's going to play off-ball linebacker. Him and Tremaine Edmonds together in the same linebacking core. Speed, speed, speed. If you're a Giants fan, you got to love that. I called their number 10 overall pick, talking about Francis Maui Noah out of Miami. Felt like he was a Giant the whole time. Fits what they want to do. Big question is he going to slide in at right guard, or is he playing right tackle? Do they like Jermaine Illuminor enough? I like the pick, though, because you got your offensive line better. Cam Scatterbo, Tyrone Tracy, going to have better lanes to run through this year. The Colton Hood pick, to me, is probably my favorite in terms of value and what he brings to this football team. You think about what the Giants already have in the secondary. When you think about bringing in Greg Newsome, you got Paulson Adebo coming back. You put Colton Hood in there as your slot guy, and now you're ready to roll, man. Like, I love what the Giants were able to do with that pick. I am
and you
questioning.
never have to play Deontay Banks again.
Well, yeah, he sucks. Ardarius Washington's going to compete for the nickel job too. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. He's a guy that I know Harbaugh was hell bent on getting there with him. The Giants did the damn thing though, man. I keep saying it, Carlos, and people are in DC didn't like this yesterday. This isn't the worst team in the division anymore. I'll tell you that.
No, it's not. But you know what? I don't think you DC fans should be upset because if anything, you should be saying you're welcome to both the Giants and the Jets. Because I fully expected the Jets to go with Arvell Reese. The fact that they went with David Bailey, I think, was a slight curveball. I mean, because David Bailey, I think, is better, obviously, pure pass rusher. But Arvell Reese is the more Swiss Army knife type of guy. But for Reese to fall to 5, the Giants couldn't pass on him, and that left Sonny Styles to be available for you guys at 7. So I think this is one of those rare win-win-win. I think it could work out for the Jets, work out for the Giants, and I think it's going to work out for you guys. I love what Sonny Styles brought for the Commanders.
I'm excited about it, man. I am. We'll see if we could ultimately capitalize on it, baby. That's the big-time question. NBA playoffs in full swing. 2 teams going into tonight have to win or else. I'll tell you who that is next here on Westwood One Sports.
Los Angeles delivered a first-round shocker with Alabama's Ty Simpson.
Wow, Ty Simpson goes 13 to the Rams.
The QB goes far earlier than expected.
Nobody saw this one coming.
Is this the beginning of the end for Matt Stafford? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Sports presents Lynnell Willingham.
What up, family? Westwood One Sports brings you Saturday morning sports with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern time. I sound like a broken record, don't I? Number to hit me up. Talk to text line. It is the People Show, 310-840-4910. A guy sketch bag. Type status in the YouTube chat. Says, L-Dub, what up? Are the Redskins getting their old name back? You know, I appreciate you saying what up, but I'm not answering your question because it's a stupid question. I'm just saying. I'm not going to answer your question because the question is silly, if we're being honest. 310-840-4910. Is the number if you have anything else you want to chime in on with the NFL draft as we get ready to switch gears to the NBA. Kevin in New Orleans will wrap up our NFL conversation. Kev, what's going on, man? Good morning.
Lynnell, what's up, man? First-time caller. Really enjoy your show.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
Bro, so I'm a Saints fan. And so like I'm gonna reference the Happy Gilmore, right? Like Happy Gilmore, okay. he wanted one of them big ones, right?
Right.
Like he wanted a big check. Well, we draft a wide receiver, and you know he's injury prone, right? You know, but you know he might be fat. How did you feel about the Saints draft pick with Jordan Tyson?
I'll be honest. Jordan Tyson was the only wide receiver in this draft worthy of a top 10 pick, in my opinion. I think he has got. If you just watch him, there's a different gear and a different, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a sense of urgency that Jordan Tyson plays with in terms of his ability to get in and out of his breaks, the toughness that he showed playing through the hamstring injury, I thought separated him. His emotion, dog, like if you were watching this, man, watching his emotion as he took the stage, man, like, That's what the NFL draft is all about. That stuff is real. That stuff is personable. Like I don't know if anybody out there's got a moment like that in their life. Obviously, none of us have been drafted, but everyone out there's got a moment like that. Hopefully, you've been able to feel that adrenaline rush and that feeling of just being overwhelmed with gratitude and thankfulness. God-fearing man, so he's an A-plus prospect already right there for me. I think this kid's going to be a superstar. The Saints are a sneaky football team. I like the Christian Miller draft pick as well, a guy that's going to eat up double teams. I think he's got some pass rush potential. Obviously, that's not what he's known for, but anytime you draft a Georgia defensive lineman, it's an A-plus for me. And then Oscar Delp is an interesting cat for me. I like him as a blocker. I don't really know what he is as a pass catcher, but as a blocker, I think he comes in and helps that run game. That's going to be a big part of whether or not they have success next year.
For sure. Yeah, I was really high on Carnell Tate because that's a huge dude. And then obviously, I believe the Titans drafted him. So that kind of went out the window. And then when we drafted Tyson, I was like, oh no, maybe injury prone. But I trust Kellen Moore. I mean, I'm sure his draft process went well. That's the reason why they drafted him. So look, we're gonna ride with him.
I got the most important thing figured out, man. Tyler Shuck is a guy. I think that's the most important thing. The only thing I think that the Saints need to address still, the secondary is still bare, and I don't know if I love your linebacking core post DeMario Davis. But look, crack you a cold drink, Kevin, and enjoy day 3 of the draft, brother. You guys got some more picks to get better, so we appreciate the call. Man. Yes, indeed. We appreciate the call as always. 310-840-4910. I mentioned there was another team in New York that deserves some flowers. We're going to get into the NBA playoffs coming up top of the 10 o'clock hour as we're getting close to the end of the hour here. But just to put a bow on our NFL draft conversation, I loved it. I mean, this is always the best time of year. It's the time where every NFL fan base, including Carlos's terrible Giants, everyone's got optimism. Everybody's got optimism. And there's a thought that you got a chance, to really make some noise this year, man. So I'm excited for all the fan bases out there in the National Football League. I'm excited at where the league is. Selfishly, I do want to bring up my Commanders. We were a winner of the draft as well. Us getting Sonny Styles at 7, I thought tremendous value. Somebody that's going to come in here right away and be able to give you the goods. I love everything about the pick, man. I do. Here's the other part of it, though, right? The other part is this. For Washington, in that entire NFC East, which I thought has had a really good draft to this point. Eagles drafted well, Giants drafted well, Cowboys drafted well. If I was to power rank my division right now, when I say my division, I'm talking about me being a Commanders fan. The NFC East to me right now is as follows. I think first place is the defending reigning champion Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown seems like he's as good as gone, but y'all know how I feel about that. I've never been somebody that was, all the way in on that. I still think there's an opportunity for them to keep him. We'll see if it ultimately happens. But what they are on defense, them in the pass rush that they got yesterday, trading for Jonathan Grenard, that's huge. So they replaced Jalen Phillips with that. We know what they got with Quinyanamo Bay out on the perimeter. I love the Eagles' defense. Their offensive line, a really damn good group as well. Big question coming up in 26 for the Eagles is, which version of Jalen Hurts are you going to get? Is he going to be willing to, what's the word I'm looking for, compromise and, be coachable in terms of what they're trying to run offensively under Sean Mannion here in year 1. But the Eagles are in first place. The second place conversation I think is fascinating. Second best quarterback in this division is Jayden Daniels behind Dak Prescott. It's hard for me when it comes to this second place conversation because the bias in me wants to put Washington there. But when I look at the Dallas Cowboys and what they've been able to accomplish this offseason, it's hard for me not to go Cowboys. It's a coin flip for me between Dallas and Washington. I think they're very similar. Dallas has a championship offense. I think their defense, if they're able to be middle of the pack defensively, Dallas is probably one of the top 4 teams within the conference. So, yeah, I'll stop being biased. Cowboys are the second-place team in the NFC East. Love the Caleb Downs pick. Love them bringing in Malachi Lawrence to get some pop off the edge. You add that to Rashawn Gary, Quinnen Williams. They cook it with gas. And they got the George Pickens thing figured out. Third place, I put the Washington Commanders because I trust Jayden Daniels more than I trust Jackson Dart. And that's just the reality of it. Thoughts?
Bro.
Your quarterback hadn't even started 10 games in his career. Has he? Has he even started 10 games? I mean, come on. That's why you can't put the Giants, or you have to put the Giants in last place. We'll see if Carlos does anything to try to sap. Oh my gosh, Sketchbag. Should have changed your name to Scumbag. Kidding. We love you, Sketchbag. Final hour of power comes your way next here on Westwood One Sports. NBA playoffs continues next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell Willingham.
Making his way to the ring. Wait, no, I'm kidding. Final hour of power coming up here on Westwood One Sports. Lynnell Willingham getting you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll have a guest stop by the program coming up in about 45 minutes or so. Spencer Lovejoy, the CEO of the National Squash League, going to take some time to get us up to speed with what they've got going on. One of the fastest rising leagues in all those sports right now, man. I know a lot of people, aren't super up to speed with it in terms of the game itself, how to play. We're gonna let you all in on a little secret. The National Squash League, the NSL, is on and popping, baby. I'll be honest with you. Total transparency. I've never played squash. I've eaten squash. Ugh. Today we're going to learn about the game of squash. That's what you get here on Westwood One Sports. Versatility, as we get to talk to our guy, Mr. Spencer Lovejoy. That comes up at about 10:45. So make sure you stick around for that. Let's do this. I will say this. So we're going to talk NBA playoffs coming up here in a second. We'll get you a fresh installment of Say What coming up here momentarily as well. But, man, the NFL draft, just to wrap up the conversation. Day 3 continues this afternoon, and fingers crossed, hopefully my Commanders get a difference maker, man, that can put us over the top and make us the best team in the division, not the second or third best team in the division. NBA playoffs, though, man, what a night it was last night in the association. We got a lot to get to when it comes to the NBA playoffs. I want to start here, though, when it comes to the NBA postseason. First of all, it has been electric to start, right? It has been electric to start. What we have here tonight, though, and what we have here this afternoon are two teams that I would describe as being on life support. Talking about the New York Knicks and the Denver Nuggets. Both of those two teams trailed 2-1. Both of those teams on the road for game number 4. Knicks in the Peach State taking on the Hawks. Nuggets in Minnesota taking on the T-Wolves. I'll be real, right? I want to start with the New York Knicks. I said it going into the postseason. There was not a team that was under more pressure heading into this NBA postseason than the New York Knicks. Pressure either busts pipes or makes diamonds. And right now there's sewage and crap spewing all over the state of New York because the pipe has busted, brother. That's the reality of the situation. And I say this all the time as well about the NBA postseason and why it's so special relative to the other postseasons out there in pro sports. When you fail to meet expectations in the NBA playoffs, usually there are massive consequences that follow. Ask Tom Thibodeau. Ask Tom Thibodeau. He knows what happens if you fail to meet expectations. Somebody's got to fall on the sword. If the Knicks go out in round 1 of the NBA playoffs, Leon Rose and company have to break this team up. I don't know if that's trading Mikal Bridges, who, by the way, Knicks fans, if you're looking for an enemy, Mikal Bridges was awful in game number 3. You traded 5 first-round picks for a guy to go scoreless in 21 minutes of action. And essentially, Carlos, and maybe you can help me out here, essentially got benched in that game against Atlanta. Pretty much. Like, at some point, we had to start holding everyone accountable in New York.
Yep.
Mikal Bridges, I know he gets stops, but you got to score.
0 points is inexcusable for a guy that they gave away 5 first-round picks for.
It's crazy. Makes no sense. And I'm looking at it. This is where I give Mike Brown a little bit of credit. At least Mike Brown didn't double down on this mistake. Because Mike Brown could have doubled down and said, we'll leave him out there. He pulled him. Saw a lot of Deuce McBride in game number 3. He actually played, pretty well in his spot duty off the bench. 15 points, 5 threes. I'm sure he's somebody that's going to be getting a lot more minutes coming up here moving forward. But I'm fascinated by what's happened with the New York Knicks. They're in a situation right now where it's kind of do or die. Because if you fall down 3-1, we know what the math says about those teams that fall down 3-1 in a series. It normally doesn't go well for that program. But if I'm going to be critical of Miles Bridges, I have to be critical of the heart and soul of the New York Knicks, who has been a total no-show on the defensive end of the floor. Jalen Brunson is making C.J. McCollum look like a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
When you consider how well C.J. has played to start this series. And look, the fact of the matter is this. In 3 games in this series, C.J. McCollum is averaging 27 points per game on 51% shooting from the field and 40% shooting from the three-point line. And I circled Jalen Brunson and go, hey, Slim, you got to be able to guard some damn body. If you can't guard C.J. McCollum, who the hell are you going to be able to guard? And that's where the rubber kind of meets the road. Y'all know how I feel about short kings and small guards, man. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think you can win in this league at a high level with a undersized guard like Jalen Brunson. It's too difficult to hide him on that end of the floor. At the rate that he's going, he's going to have to hide in the damn state of New York, if we're being honest. Damn, trying to hide him on the floor, he's going to have to hide in the boroughs. People are going to be throwing euros at him out of bodegas. He's going to be getting beat over the head with sausage, egg, and cheese bagels and whatnot, man.
I love that you're pulling out every stereotypical reference that you can
seriously,
find.
I'm telling you. And I like Jalen Brunson, the person. Good dude, plays hard, love his story, kind of like a Cinderella. He's killing them right now defensively. C.J. McCollum has been virtually unguardable in this series. And when you think about the young Hawks, not a lot of postseason experience on that team. Last game, in Game 3, you saw the coming out party of Jalen Johnson. It was the best game he played in the postseason. For C.J. McCollum to be able to bear that load while Jalen Johnson gets accustomed to his first NBA playoffs, I think it says a lot about McCollum. This series, if they lose tonight, is over. It's just the bottom line. The other series that I think is on life support, the other team that I think is on life support is the Denver Nuggets. Down 2-1 going into a pivotal Game 4 tonight. And I'll be honest, right? Let's give credit where credit is due. To me, of course. I called it. I told you all if you listened. This was the biggest dark horse, the sleeping giant of the Western Conference. Talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have been getting it done. Bottom line, call it what you want. Hadn't been pretty, hadn't been sexy, but they figured out a way to win. And they're up 2-1 in this series heading into a pivotal game coming up here tonight. You know what the biggest difference in this series has been? You know who's been the difference maker in this series? It's been Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, in the different combination of defenses that they've thrown at Nikola Jokic. What they have done guarding the Joker in this series has been so damn impressive. I'm going to give you the numbers for Nikola Jokic here in this series because I'll be real, he's been a no-show. Nikola Jokic in this series shooting 40% from the field. Shooting 40% from the field. He was 7 of 26 in game 3. He was 8 of 20 on Monday night in game 2. He is struggling. Shooting 40% from the field. He's 5 of 24 from the three-point line in this series. And he's averaging 4 turnovers a game. Nikola Jokic has totally choked here. I'm sorry. Call it what you want. Be honest about it, man. This is the thing about the NBA playoffs. This is the thing about this platform that we got here on Westwood One Sports. I'm going to tell it to you how a TI is. I'm the author of authenticity. I'm allergic to not keeping it real. I got to tell you, Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets are in trouble. That's not giving away the state secret. The big elephant in the room is Nikola Jokic going to show up in this series at any point? Is Nikola Jokic going to show up in this series at any point? Let me know if he does. Let me know if he does. I'll tell you who has shown up in this series. I'll tell you who's answered the bell every time out in this series. It's been none other than Rudy Gobert. And Chris Finch, the head coach of the T-Wolves, gave an impassioned post-game speech saying that it's ridiculous that he wasn't a Defensive Player of the Year finalist. Rudy Gobert, throughout this series, the points aren't a big deal. Only averaging 9.7 points. It's the defense. 3 blocks in game 3, and he's altered a bevy of other shots at the rim. He's not going to get credited with the shot blocks because it's hard to block the Joker's shot. But the way that he has played tough all throughout this series and has made nothing easy for Nikola, they're not up 2-1 in this series. Bottom line, they're not up 2-1 in this series without Rudy Gobert. He deserves as much credit as anybody. Jaden McDaniels coming up big. Last game, it was Ayo Dosunmu coming up big. The T-Wolves are legit. The T-Wolves are legit, and like I said before the postseason started, there was no bigger sleeping giant in the Western Conference than this group, and they're showing you right now. They beat the hell out of the Nuggets the other night, and Anthony Edwards only had 17 points. He doesn't have to do it by himself. Dante DiVincenzo, Ayo Dosunmu, Jaden McDaniels, the role players from Minnesota have been awesome. If they're awesome again tonight, Nuggets are going bye-bye, and I'm excited for it. The other series that has my attention right now that continues coming up here today, the first game on tap. And I don't know how to feel about this series right now because game 2 was a statement game from the Detroit Pistons. They beat the hell out of the Magic in game 2. This series travels to Orlando. Detroit, 2.5-point favorites. Jalen Suggs and Paolo Banchero have been huge for the Orlando Magic. Jalen Suggs is the heart and soul of that group, the effort, the tenacity that he's played with, diving on the floor for loose balls. I love it all. The difference in game 2 was Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren was big time in that game number 2, and he deserves credit because I ragged on him for the way that he played in game number 1 against Wendell Carter. But I think as we move ahead and look ahead to this afternoon, I need someone, and when I say someone, I'm talking to one player in particular. Wendell Carter, it's time to show up again, pal. Gogo Batata, it's time to show up. You all played well in game 1. You took the fight to the Pistons in game 1. Will you do it tonight in game 3? Will you do it tonight in game 3 as the series travels to Orlando. I'm excited for it. The other game that happened last night that I want to check on. One, I told you all the Sixers were going to give Boston a run for their money. But what about the Lakers? What about the Lakers? LeBron James last night, 29, 13, and 6 on 10 of 22 shooting. Now, he did have a ugly 8 turnovers throughout the course of this game. So there was that part. But, man, LeBron, if he can get past Houston, who was without Kevin Durant for the second time in this series, second game in this series, if they can get past Houston and give Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic the time to heal up, knowing the injury that Jalen Williams suffered, and we don't really know the status of J-Will moving forward, they could give OKC a run for their money if they're healthy, and OKC's not, right? Anytime you're entering a playoff series and you've got LeBron, Luka, in this version of Austin Reeves at your disposal, you're in the fight, is the way that I would describe it. You're in the fight. And that's the reality right now. That's the reality right now when it comes to the LA Lakers. LeBron James is turning back the damn clock. LeBron James is playing his face off, honestly. And in this series, they're up 3-0 now. It's all but over. The big question is now the health of Luka and Austin Reeves moving forward. Daily Rose says Katie's got the weirdest pre-playoff injuries. I mean, he knocked knees with a guy in practice. Like, it's unfortunate. When it comes to the injury bug.
We call that the Diana Rossini.
It took me a while to put it. It took a little while. Guys are in the YouTube chat calling him soft. Don't call him soft, brother. Like, he got knocked in the knee. It is what it is. It's not his fault, though.
It hurts like hell. Anybody knock their knee on, like, the coffee table walking by, you're going to be out 3 to 6 days.
Exactly. So, like, to call him soft is probably a stretch, but it's an unfortunate injury situation right now for a group that, as we can see, can't score in the half court without him. Honestly, like, Alperen Sengun did his best last night to try and, get it going, so to speak, but still ended up not being enough, man. Still ended up not being enough. Lakers have won this series, and they're up 3-0. It's more than likely over. I'm now eager to see what happens in round number 2, and are they able to get back all of their guys and be at full health? Because if they're at full health, I'll keep saying it, man. I'm not doing it for clicks. I'm not doing it because I've been accused of being a bronze sexual before in my life. That's not what this is. They got a shot because when you have Luka, AR, and LeBron on the floor together, you got a shot in a 7-game series against anybody. And the other added caveat to this is the uncertainty of Thunderstar Jalen Williams moving forward as he's dealing with a hamstring contusion. So, I'm interested. Carlos with a K, Wepa. I don't get it.
Yeah, Wepa's down for you, bro.
What's what? Okay, I'm not.
First of all, I'm glad you didn't pronounce it Weepa. That would have been more embarrassing. You got the pronunciation right, which I applaud you.
Is it is it a Spanish word?
Yeah, Wepa. It's like
Wepa!
Wepa!
Wepa! Opa!
Yeah, not that far off. It's essentially the same thing.
Chopsticks. Sticks and stones may break my bones. The Lakers have knocked out the Rockets like Too Tall Jones. Lakers in 6. Wepa! Are we just going to yell Wepa every time we see it? Can that be a thing? Wepa! That'll be our thing till the end of time. Wepa! 310-840-4910 is the number. We got a lot more to get to including a special guest stopping by the program to wrap up the program. We'll get you the ins and outs of one of the fastest rising sports leagues in the country. Spencer Lovejoy, CEO of the National Squash League, joins us before we give you your cup of Joe to go. But when we come back, the most highly anticipated audio vault in all of sports talk radio, Say What, hits you next.
Westwood One, baby! Fernando Mendoza is the Raiders' new centerpiece. Will he prove to be a franchise quarterback or another Vegas roll of the dice? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell Willingham.
I'll say this. Allergies in the springtime. Allergies is the stupidest thing ever. All break long, I've been fidgeting with my right eye. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that my eye is starting to turn red here. I'm getting like allergy attacked right now. I don't know what's going on. I haven't been outside yet today. Well, I grabbed my headphones out of my truck. That was when I went outside. But like, dog, I'm indoors. There's no reason allergies should be impacting me. I can't stop touching my eye. It's so annoying. Ugh! The spring is so stupid. It's like a fake summer. It's just annoying. Anybody out there that deals with allergies the way that I do, I'm sorry. What do you do? If you have any allergy tricks, call us. 310-840-4910. This is so annoying. Like, look at my face. By the way, when I open my eyes like this, it really brings out the light brown tint that I have on my eyes.
It really does.
Thanks. It's
I
so
also have light
annoying,
brown
though.
tints, so, yeah, I appreciate a good eye.
You got an eye for an eye. Someone says I get New Year's Eve allergies. Is that like some sort of drug joke? Wepa! Told you every time I see it, you'll get that reaction. I'm just gonna ignore the fact that we came back from break with that hypocrite. Can't wait till Drake drops his album and can put that fraud Kendrick Lamar to bed.
Yawn. Been waiting. Yawn.
By the way, before we get into
you needed to answer last year.
Yeah, but he's relevant. I mean,
pause, hesitation told the whole story.
I know. Look at my eye, guys. Like, I don't feel there's no sympathy here for me. And when I say you guys, I'm talking to you in the chat.
Just take some Benadryl.
Dog, Benadryl does something to where you instantly go to sleep. I don't know what's up with Benadryl. In the African American
then I'll take it right now. I don't even have allergies. I'm beat.
Benadryl's been used as a sleep remedy in the African American community for years. I was put to bed with Benadryl several nights. This thing, it itches so bad. And Daily Row, why would you say that I have pink eye? You just spew so much negativity sometimes. I don't understand your bit. No, I don't have no damn pink eye. Why would you even take it off the screen? Actually, like, why would you like that? Where that energy is just not. It's just not. It's not what we need here. Pink eye. Oh. I hope. Stop with the eyes. You're gonna make it work. Make me. Kidding. Help me. Seriously. It's just tough, man. I hate this. It's so now I look all. Ooh, I'm like waving my wepa. It's just tough. I don't know what to do about my eye, though, guys. The allergy bit, like, I have the worst allergies ever. I've suffered from allergies all my life. It was even worse. As a kid, I'm allergic to ragweed, dust, pollen, grass.
Oh, you're like my brother-in-law. He's allergic to all that crap.
Imagine being allergic to grass. You know how crazy it is to be allergic to grass, brother?
You can't go outside.
You know how many good football games I had to exit from because my allergies began to take over as a child, and I can't stop touching it. That's my problem. Visine had the solution for what you're suffering. Check it out. Visine sucks. When you got eyes like this, Visine doesn't do anything. You know what I need? I need some Roto. Take a sharp stick, gently rub your eye. What?
Make sure it's pointy.
If you don't want me to host the show anymore, just say that. Like if you don't want me to host anymore, I would have rather you just said that. But no, seriously, like, you know what I used to hate whenever I was in school, and this would happen when I was in middle school. I would always try to use my allergies as a way to get out of something. I mean, I was the absolute worst. And you know what they started doing? Lynnell, why don't we just get you a cold compress? The hell's a cold compress going to do?
That's the dumbest thing.
Does nothing. All it does is dry out your skin and make you look ashy.
Yeah. I remember one time I had a sty on my eye, which I never had in my entire life. I thought it was just a pimple. I'm like, what the hell is this? They're like, oh, put a cold compress in it. All I did was I just felt wet and angry. It did nothing.
Yeah, it literally wet and angry. Styes are like the cousins of pink eye, by the way. I'm doing weird bits on camera that I shouldn't be doing with my eye.
Probably not.
This is uncomfortable. This is so tough. Like, I don't know what to do. It's distracting me almost. I can't talk about anything else but my eye itching. And now it's like watering and my vision's getting blurry.
It's like Inception when you tell you not to think about pink elephants and the first thing you think about is pink elephants.
Or when you have to go to the bathroom and they tell you don't think about anything and then you pee yourself. Has anyone out there heard of Rotos?
I have no idea what that is.
They're eye drops, and they're fancy. So I'll tell you when I first found out about Rotos. I first found out about Rotos in college when I was trying not to make my eyes look red when I was walking around inebriated. And Roto, it makes your eyes so white, and it burns so good. I like a product that burns.
You sure that wasn't Clorox?
No, but you know why I like a product that burns, though? I like a product that burns because I want to know this joint is working. I want to know that what I'm using.
Yeah, I do like an active ingredient.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Y'all got somebody look it up, man, in the chat.
That's like
Roto.
when you get mouthwash, but it's like the non-alcoholic one, so it doesn't burn.
Yeah,
you're like, what am I just? I'm rinsing it with water. Like it's nothing. I want to be in pain when I'm using my mouthwash. I want to know all that bacteria is burning.
I should say,
right. They should be uncomfortable to mouthwash.
Somebody, well, if you don't have a bunch of germs, it probably doesn't burn. I don't know. Over under. This is gonna sound really crazy. I randomly thought of this because you mentioned hygiene. Remember that video, Carlos, that I sent you a while ago of like Kevin Durant saying he doesn't shower?
Vaguely, yes.
Not that he doesn't shower, but like when he's during the off season, he may go like 3-4 days without a shower.
Yeah, that's gross.
We're going to talk about that at some point in the summer. Why did I bring that up? You're probably wondering. I don't know. I'm going to try to undistract myself. Let's do this. Let's get to a portion. Wepa! I told you. You think I'm joking? I could be. Don't do it when Spencer Lovejoy comes on and you throw up Wepa. I'm going to do it mid-interview. I would do it mid-interview.
I'm a professional. I wouldn't do it, although now I'm thinking about doing it.
So Sketchbag says, wash your pillowcases and everything your hands touch, mouse, phone, remote, etc., and go full down lockdown mode. Okay. Best relief for eye allergies involves using OTC antihistamine eye drops like padded air. I used to have Zadador. I've used Zadador.
Original tribal chief?
Pine Needle, I know about Zadador. Combined with preservative-free artificial tears to rinse the allergens out. Okay, Pine Needle. Miss Aaron says, stop touching your eye. Miss Aaron, it's hard. How do I stop touching something that itches so bad? Flush your eye out with water. Get some sort of eye drops. Can y'all do me a favor? Can y'all look up Roto eye drops? ROTO. They're the best eye drops ever. I'm going to go get me some Rotos probably at some point. But here's the other thing. I'm just going to take a shower. And when I get out the shower, I'll feel everything.
So you're going to do the opposite of Kevin Durant.
I'm going to do the opposite of Kevin Durant in the summer. Let's do this. Wepa! 310-840-4910. I thought we closed the talking text line. Why'd I give the line out? Let's do this. Each and every weekend we do this. The most highly anticipated audio vault in all sports talk radio. Say what?
They are who we thought they were. We in here. The biggest names in sports step up to the mic.
The guy is drunk.
You have got to be smoking.
The best audio in the world of sports.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
Come after me.
I don't come with the bullshit.
It's Say What? Say what? With Lynnell, Willingham, and Carlos with a K.
All right, this rendition of Say What is sponsored by nobody. Sales, get on it. Probably Progressive too, but I don't have the Progressive read in front of me. Let's start with Malik Neighbors, wide receiver for the Giants. Lynnell, you thought the Giants had a good draft. I thought they had a good draft. Malik Neighbors, a little bit more of a different opinion when it comes to their first pick at number 5 overall, Arvell Reese.
I mean, I love the player. Don't get me wrong, I love the player, but just like he said, like where do you play? Like you wanna be on the outside and rush, but we just drafted somebody last year. The reason why I said Caleb Downs, and I know it's gonna
There's still a chance they can get him at 10.
and it's still but I'm saying though, like you have to get him when they're available. It's not saying that he's gonna be there at 10. And because we just traded Dex,
right?
You need interior D line. I understand getting outside backer, he wants to rush, okay, cool. But I'm saying though, when you eliminate something from there, you have to put something in the back end to be secure.
Malik Neighbors, shut up.
Shut the hell up. Yeah, thank you.
You're right, but shut up. Point blank. He gonna be wearing burgundy and gold by the year 2030 anyway, so that's all that matters.
All right,
that's
well,
all that matters.
All right, let's shift gears. Let's go to another team in the NFL. The Eagles, they made a move for Jonathan Grenard from the Minnesota Vikings, so that's a shrewd trade. Another shrewd move by Javi Roseman. I don't know why anybody picks up the phone when he's calling. You know you're just going to get fleeced. But let's go to GM Nick Caserio of the Texans, because even though A.J. Brown's probably going to be on the move in a couple of weeks, and Jonathan Grenard just got moved, his star wide receiver, Nico Collins, well, Nick Caserio, he shut all those rumors down.
Yeah, I mean, look, teams call teams all the time and ask about players. I mean, we're not trading Nico Collins. So, I mean, like, whoever reported it or whatever information that they had, I mean, they could take it and shove it. Like, we're not trading Nico.
Thank you, come again. That's the best way that I would put it, man. Like, look, I thought it was a stupid rumor. They don't have a bunch of weapons offensively, so trading him would make no sense. What I think we've noticed here throughout the pre-draft process, especially in my city, talking about the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., a lot of people don't know a lot. and a lot of times, a lot of these rumors come out of thin air. Nick Caserio, just one of the few GMs that have the stones to actually call out the rumor coming out of thin air.
Straight up. And the last one here. Now, normally, I don't like to put a losing team, but it's your losing team, the Dodgers. They face the mighty juggernaut known as the Chicago Cubs, who've won 10 straight. But here's manager Dave Roberts, because it looks like the Dodgers might have a little bit more bullpen troubles than we thought.
You know, I don't concern myself too much about it, because these are the guys we have. They've pitched well, and they've got to go out there and continue to pitch well. So, you know, I don't spend too much time thinking about Edwin, because he's just not going to be with us for a while.
It's early, man. There's no panic out in La La Land at all. We're fine. Just got to get healthy, that's all. And once we do, you watch out, baseball world.
Yeah, we literally just saw the movie last year.
Los Doyers are coming, baby. Look, nothing's going to be perfect in a 162-game season. But by the time we hit October, I got a feeling that the Dodgers are going to have a great postseason. Carlos, I don't know if your team will be there or not.
They better be.
They better be.
furious. They're
They're
not.
on a heater right now, as you mentioned. Winners of 10 in a row, talking about the Chicago Cubs. We got a lot to get to as we wrap up the show. Spencer Lovejoy about to spread the love on the National Squash League coming up. The CEO joins us next here on Westwood One Sports.
The Cardinals turned the draft upside down. Jeremiah Love went 3rd overall.
Man, I'm ready to prove the fans right, prove the coaching staff right.
The highest paid running back ever with $52.5 million guaranteed.
I'm ready to represent the running backs. I'm ready to represent the Cardinals, ready to represent Notre Dame.
Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell Willingham.
Yes, indeed. One final segment before we wrap things up here on the Sports Saturday with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, getting you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I've been poking the bear. I've been teasing you all show long that we had a super special guest joining the program. We'll get to our special guest coming up here momentarily. I do want to welcome you all in if you're just now joining the program. We appreciate you locking in. You can check us out on one of our over 200 plus affiliates out there nationwide on the AM FM dial. You can check us out via Sirius XM channel 375. And if you're feeling frisky, you can check out the live stream on YouTube. Just search Westwood One Sports Night. We're ready to spread the love with our guy Spencer Lovejoy, the CEO of the National Squash League. Check out the National Squash League at nslsport.com for news, ticket purchasing information, and the latest schedule of events. Spencer, we appreciate you making some time for us this morning, my man.
Lynnell, I appreciate you having me on this morning and having me represent the National Squash League on your show.
Let's do it, man. I'm all about spreading the love and spreading the joy, my friend. So I think you are as well. Can you tell our listening audience that is not familiar? I've been doing my research to get me prepared for this bad boy. I love to eat squash, my friend. Get me hip as to why the National Squash League is taking over here as one of the fastest growing sports leagues in North America.
100%. I mean, squash it's oftentimes a misconception between the vegetable and the sport. And for all those listeners out there, you know, who don't know what squash is, it's an incredibly fast-paced, intense game. And what we're doing at the National Squash League is we have this new team-based professional squash league that we've built from the ground up to be fast, fan-friendly, and it's built for TV entertainment. It's comprised of the best players in the world, top players, top 10 players, from international backgrounds as well, competing in this high-energy format. We've got a running clock, substitutions, power plays. It's really nonstop action from the get-go. It's easy to follow, and fans really love it. So that's why we're growing so fast.
For fans out there, Spencer, that are in love with more traditional U.S. sports, can you give a comp for the sport of squash?
Yeah, I mean, squash is, like I said, it's incredibly fast. It's incredibly intense. It's an indoor racket sport. There's a lot of quick movements. It's explosive. There's quick rallies. So, you know, it really is one of those sports where many people, maybe they haven't been able to watch it and there's not enough access to it, but it really is an awesome sport. And that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to create more visibility around it so more people can watch and understand how awesome it is.
What made you, or how did you get involved, I guess is the better question, Spencer, with the National Squash League, and what drew you to this opportunity, man?
So I started playing squash when I was about 8 years old.
Wow,
and I
you're
played
a
the whole
veteran.
junior. I'm 27 now, so you know I've been playing more than half my life. So I played the whole junior circuit in the U.S. We have a very, very strong grassroots junior program here in the U.S. There's actually courts all over the place, even though people might not know. And I played for 4 years in college, and then I actually played professionally on the world tour for 5 years. And, you know, I couldn't help but notice where squash was kind of falling short from the fan perspective. And, you know, traditional squash matches, they're a bit long, they're a bit drawn out. It's kind of hard to follow them. And so that's why I took it upon myself and a couple of our co-founders to really create a format of squash and package it in a way that people could really watch, and that was more exciting. So that's why we created the National Squash League.
Saturday morning sports with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, rocking out with you for about 5-6 more minutes here. We're joined right now by Spencer Lovejoy, the CEO of the National Squash League. Check out the National Squash League at nslsport.com for news, ticket purchasing information, and the latest schedule of events. You can also check out the league on Instagram as well, at nsl.sport, and by searching for the National Squash League on YouTube. You mentioned the grassroots of this league. Is that really the number one scouting tool for you all in terms of finding new talent here?
You know, squash is interesting because we have a really, really strong grassroots program, especially here in the U.S. We have so many juniors, thousands and thousands of junior players who are looking to play in high school, looking to play in college. Like I said, we have a very, very well-structured junior tournament circuit that is put on by our national governing body, U.S. Squash, here in the U.S. So the sport is really growing, especially ahead of the LA 28 Olympics. Squash was just admitted into the LA 28 Olympics.
There we go.
You'll be able, which is an awesome, awesome thing for our sport. I mean, that's going to give us so much visibility. And now with that goal ahead for a lot of the juniors coming up, it's a big goal. And obviously to play in our league, it's going to become a big goal for a lot of the players coming up in this next generation. So, yeah, with our league, we're really trying to inspire that next generation of fans to really take on, play professionally at the highest level.
And think about the major cities that you guys are already in: Atlanta, Chicago, Louisville, Philly, New York. How has the growth of the league been for you guys? And, how proud are you, of this growth so far?
We're very proud of it. We're really passionate about this new concept, this new format that we're building, and we've already been able to get great buy-in, as you said, Lynnell, from big cities around the country. These are great communities, communities with great people who are looking to grow the game just like we are, and that's why we have partnered with all these cities and clubs in these cities to host teams, more squash events, bring these professional athletes there to create something special. And so I think that, it's really just an example of the squash community banding together, for what is really a niche sport in the USA, and trying to make squash major league, as we say at the National Squash League.
The one thing that, maybe, the casual fans out there aren't hip about, there are women players in this league and male players in this league. If our listening audience out there is looking for a male squash player to follow and a female squash player to follow, is there anybody out there who you'd say, yeah, those two play an exciting brand?
100%. We have so many players, both men and women, part of our league who play such an exciting brand of squash. We have 9 men's teams and 6 women's teams in 15 total teams in 12 different cities around the country. And I would say for any fans out there looking to support players ahead of the LA 28 Olympics on the women's side, here in the U.S., we have Olivia Weaver. She's a Philadelphia native. She's number 4 in the world, and she's got a real shot at getting a medal at the LA 28 Olympics. And then on the men's side, we've got Timmy Brownell, who's one of the highest-ranked American men's players of all time, about 25 in the world, and he's another one who has a real shot at getting to the Olympics and making some noise there. So for all people out there listening, definitely give them a follow on Instagram, Timmy Brownell and Olivia Weaver.
CEO Spencer Lovejoy, the National Squash League, here to talk about the reinvention of professional squash. You mentioned you've played before. Any chance that you double dip as the CEO and an active player?
Lynnell, I actually played the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
First 2 seasons that we founded this league, and obviously, when you're starting a startup company, you got to wear many hats, right? So I was playing the league, I was organizing the league, I was doing the marketing and everything for the first couple of years. Now I've stepped back a little bit. I'm working full time now for the league, and as the CEO, I'm trying to put everything I have into growing this and really giving something back to the sport that I love. So I really just want to see the sport do well. I want to see more people, watch squash, understand what squash is, and understand why it is such a great sport, and has really changed my life and has the ability to change others' lives too.
Spencer, we appreciate you making some time for us, my friend. Make sure you check out the National Squash League at nslsport.com for news, ticket purchasing information, and the latest schedule of events. That's going to do it here for Saturday Morning Sports with the youngest in charge at Willingham. We appreciate you all checking us out. Big thank you to the CEO of the National Squash League, Spencer Lovejoy. Thank you to Carlos with a K. Thank you to our guy Lee behind the glass taking your calls. NBA playoffs going to be exciting coming up this afternoon. We got the conclusion of the NFL draft as well. Be well. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
This is Westwood One Sports.